You're listening to Tumult in Mecca, written by Hans-Peter Bech. Read by Rich Keeble. Dedicated to Denmark. Epigraph. Tumult in Mecca is a novel about baby boomer Henrik Bertelsen, a boy from provincial Aalborg in Denmark. The story begins in July 1979, when he works as an economist at the Ministry of Labour and lectures in macroeconomics at the University of Copenhagen twice a week. Henrik craves undisturbed stability to secure his career as a civil servant, but he doesn't get it. Out of the blue, a highly unusual opportunity for adventure in Saudi Arabia suddenly appears, and he seizes it. When we think that today's developments are getting ahead of us, it's only because we have short memories. Chapter 1. Summer in Copenhagen. The invitation. The phone rang, and I woke with a start. The Danish Parliament was on holiday, and most of the office was away. At other times, the phone often rang, but during the summer break, days could go by without a single call. On this hot summer day in July 1979, the air was still under the copper roof and the temperature was nearing 30 degrees. I had the skylight open, hoping for even the slightest breeze. Traffic hummed in the distance around the National Bank, the Beurs Bridge and Holman's Church. Otherwise, it was as quiet as a grave. "Henrik Bertelsen," I managed to say when I finally picked up. "It's your brother, Jacob," said our friendly operator. "Shall I put him through?" The operator was blind, something I'd only realised when stopping by his tiny office to say hello. I'd been in the job for about 6 months and was used to his voice. It was only appropriate to put a face to the kind voice, so I did. Of course, he couldn't. But he seemed happy about my visit, and we often chatted when he delivered a message or put a call through. "Hi, Jacob, what's up?" That's how all conversations with my 3 brothers started. The twins Jacob and Palle, and Eigil, the oldest. I was 8 years younger than the twins and 10 years younger than Eigil, a latecomer. "Fancy a coffee?" Jacob asked. "Yes, I suppose," I replied hesitantly. "When?" "Now. I've had a call from the Saudi Arabian embassy about a project." "What?" "I know it sounds weird, but come over and I'll tell you what I know." Jacob was co-owner of a gastronomic business in central Copenhagen, a combined delicatessen, open-faced sandwich shop, cafe and restaurant. With their shared kitchen and office facilities, they catered to a wide variety of customers with almost the same products. A clever concept. I dropped by sometimes when it was quiet and we talked about work, business, family and everything else under the sun. A scratch in the lacquer. I was very close to Jacob. My older brothers were my role models and had helped me out of many delicate situations when we all lived at home. As a child, I was cautious and not fond of fighting. Some of the boys in the neighbourhood found out and started bullying me, though they stopped whenever one of my brothers intervened. It was a miracle that I escaped a thrashing when they weren't around. However, their warnings were unmistakable. They made it crystal clear what would happen if there was as much as a single hair misplaced on my head. My oldest brother wasn't much of a fighter either, but the twins loved it and didn't hold back. They punched first and asked questions later. If anyone didn't listen, there would be trouble. Sometimes for me too. I once used one of their newly bought vinyl records as a template to cut a circle from a piece of cardboard. As luck would have it, the knife slipped, leaving an unmistakable scratch right across the tracks. I put the record back in its sleeve and discreetly returned it to the shelf. Foolish move. Soon after they came home, they switched on the gramophone and placed the record on the turntable. A few seconds later, all hell broke loose as the needle reached the dreaded scratch. Click, click, click. I felt the warmth spreading across my face. "What the hell?" Eigil yelled. Then silence as they inspected the record.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?